Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kermits Ghost. It's 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and I'm going to go through the K's and L's of my horror collection. First one up is the creature feature King Kong. This was voted the 4th best horror movie ever made. Yeah, no. From 1933, and it follows a bunch of filmmakers to a place called Skull Island, which is off the maps. And whilst they're making a film there, or trying to, the locals kidnap the leading lady, Fay Ray, and offer her up as a sacrifice to the local beast, King Kong. Now, instead of killing her, he takes her away and protects her. And eventually, the Americans sort of trap him and take him back to New York with them and put him on display, basically. And while he's on display, people take a load of photographs, like big flashes, and it enrages him. He escapes. They chase him through New York. He climbs up the Empire State and try to kill him with the biplanes. Great movie. Had two directors. It was all stop animation. There's no CGI back then. And I believe Peter Jackson, who went on to do the remake, has the actual stop motion of King Kong in his possession. This is a HMV Premium Line collection. Great release. That's the first one. Next one up is Night of the Dead. It's about a bunch of knights that are protecting a priest who's carrying the Holy Grail. It's a zombie movie. It's during the Black Death as well, and it's like a journey movie, road trip sort of thing. They're going through like his valley, and the undead are there, and they've got to slay their way through. That's basically the story. It's amateur dramatics at its worst. It's awfully acted, and the picture is really wishy-washy as well. It's all washed out. There's hardly any depth or colour. But that is Night of the Dead. Next one up is Krampus, and I watched this for the first time just before Christmas last year and instantly fell in love with it. It's an amazing film. It's basically about a young boy that gets humiliated by, I think it's his sister or his cousin, when they read out his Christmas list, because he still believes in Christmas. He rips it up, chucks it out, and it summons up the Krampus, who happens to be a Bolivian folklore creature, and he comes and with his like bunch of elves, if you like, but they're not the elves that you would know, and they try to kill everybody and take them to hell. Brilliant film, absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend this one enough. It's got a great cast in it. Next one up is Lake Placid. It's about a 30-foot saltwater crocodile that's terrorizing the locals, and it's got a great cast: Bill Pullman, Betty White, Olivia Brendan Gleeson, Oliver Platt. It's just a really good kind of Jaws-like thing, but with a crocodile instead. Betty White is feeding up this little crocodile to this big, out-of-control man-eater. It's just very good. And there's a great helicopter scene in this as well. It's quite tense, but it's a black comedy at its heart. The Last Witch Hunter. Now, the story is Vin Diesel. He's a mortal man. He goes to kill a witch, and who sort of unleashed the Black Death. And while he's about to kill her, she puts a curse on him of immortality. So he's 800 years old, cut to present day, and he's slaying all these witches. Very good. Oh, he's got this. Is it a Duan? He's got like an assistant who is mortal, played by Michael Caine, who is about to retire, but he dies in his sleep, or does he? And then his next Duan, who is played by Elijah Wood, who is trying to convince him that his last one was killed by a witch. So there you go. That's a really good underrated film, I think. Anyway, not bad at all. It gets a lot of bad press, but I liked it. Anyway, Jeff Fahey and Pierce Brosnan, Lawnmower Man, based on 1975 Stephen King short film, and it's about a guy who's like a simple man who's a gardener, Jeff, and he's a gardener to Pierce. And Pierce offers him a chance to become intelligent by an experiment that he's working on. Obviously it goes wrong. He gets too intelligent. He gets to the point, a bit like Lucy, the film Lucy, and he sort of gains like 100% of his brain, can do telekinesis, that sort of thing, and it gets out of control, and he tries to exact revenge on people that have done him wrong in the past, and he disappears down a phone line. So it's kind of like Lucy in a lot of ways, except the effects are really bad in this now. Next one up is Legion. I watched this last night. It's about an angel played by Paul Bettany, who's supposed to bring about the end of the world for humanity, but he wants to protect them instead. And it's kind of like Terminator. He sort of appears in an alley, cuts off his wings. I know it doesn't happen in Terminator. But then he goes to this diner to protect a waitress whose child is going to be the saviour of mankind. So you can see it's borrowed a lot of story from Terminator 1. Lesbian Vampire Killers, I know nothing about this, I've not seen it. It's James Corden, and oddly enough, they got the whole title on the side, but they have put a warning over the word lesbian, so you can read it that way, but not that way. These next two I should really show together because they're remakes of each other, and it's about, well, they're both about, you got Let the Right One In, which is the original, and Let Me In. This one stars Chloe Grace Moretz, and I don't know who that is. The story on both of them is a quid pro quo, but it's only sort of a one-sided quid pro quo. It's about a 12-year-old vampire that protects a boy who's being bullied. He's like an outcast, and so is she because she's a vampire. And they form a relationship, but she doesn't have any feelings for him at all. It's purely because she wants him to look after her when she gets as time goes on during the day. So it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. Very good. I think it's been classed as one of the best vampire films ever, and I also think it's quite a thing. When you're a vampire, you sort of, when you die at that age, and then you stay that age for eternity. And being a 12-year-old would be a nightmare, I think, if you died as a you wouldn't want to die as a 12-year-old. You wouldn't want to die as a 90-year-old and become a vampire, because that's the age that you'd stay forever. You want to be like 20, 30. Yeah, like in Interview with a Vampire, like that. You won't want to die when you're 90, like the old guy in Doctor Sleep. And the next one up is Life. This one gets a lot of hate. I like this film. I love the ending of this. It's a good surprise death. You've probably all seen it. I won't give it away because it's not that old. You have Ryan Reynolds, Rebecca Ferguson. Wasn't she in Doctor Sleep? She was the Hat Woman. I think she could have been. And Jake Gyllenhaal. As I said, good alien. Sort of picking off the crew one by one, that sort of thing. Quite a mean alien as well. Very good, and a great ending. Next one is Life After Beth. Now this is a rom-com drama. It's about Beth, played by Aubrey Plaza. She's in a relationship. Actually, they're breaking up in a relationship, and suddenly she just dies like that. Now her parents are played by Molly Shannon and John C. Reilly. When she dies, they want nothing to do with the boyfriend, and he's a bit like, hang on, we were best of friends before, now you don't want to even talk to me. So he sort of goes to the house looking through the window, and eventually he's worried and breaks in, and he finds her alive, and they start a relationship up again, but something is not quite off. It's not quite right, and she starts decaying slowly before his eyes, and then he realizes that she is in fact dead, and she's a zombie. I'll leave it there. I won't give too much away, but don't go in the attic. There's a great scene with her tied to a cooker. I think this is an underrated film. Life Force. I've not seen this yet. This is an Arrow release, and I know Patrick Stewart's in this, and I know they kind of find a life form outside Hades Comet. It's like 100 miles long, and it's like bat-like creatures that they sort of take home, something like that. But no, I've not seen it yet. Next one is a Limehouse Golem. Now, Limehouse is a place around London, like a theatre district, and the Golem is obviously the creature that patrols that area. And it's kind of like it's a murder mystery. Serial killer is operating in the Limehouse. It's set around the sort of time of Jack the Ripper, and the killer leaves messages in the blood. So it's a murder mystery. Got Bill Nighy and this guy. This guy's really annoying in the film, but it's a good film, very good. This is another one I've not seen. This is a little girl that lives down the lane. I bought this purely because it's got Jodie Foster, and she's quite young in this. She looks like she's the age when she was in Bugsy Malone. And it's a horror film, and it's got Martin Sheen as well, and those two names will draw me to buying any film. The next one up is an Australian horror film. It's got that Lupita Nyong'o, or whatever her name is, and it's got Josh Gad, who's Olaf. voice of Olaf. And it's a zombie film set in Australia, and it's really good. You got this guy who's a loser. He's looking after his nephew, takes him to school and volunteers for a school trip when he sees how good looking the teacher is. When they're on this school trip to a farm, there's a zombie outbreak, and that's all you need to know. Well, you got Josh Cad there. He's a child's entertainer who happens to be performing in the area, and he hates kids, and it really shows when the zombies break out. Very, very funny, and well worth a watch. It's quite cheap. I think when it came out it was only like $9.99. And the last one, and you're probably thinking this ain't a horror, but it's a horror comedy musical. Yeah, no, Little Shop of Horrors. Rick Moranis. You've got Bill Murray in this, and Steve Martin. Steve Martin's a dentist. Bill Murray's his patient that likes pain. Steve Martin actually loves inflicting pain on his patients. But you've got Rick Moranis, and he is like the key character in this, who's looking after an alien plant. I think it's Audrey. It's the plant Audrey. I can't remember what the plant's called. And the plant is a cannibal. He likes the taste of human flesh, and he has to keep feeding it. Else the plant says he's going to eat his girlfriend. And it's a musical. Did I mention it was a musical? Very, very funny, catchy songs, and boring disc, and a classic. It's from 1986. Well, thank you so much for watching my K's and L's of my horror collection. I know it's not the biggest horror collection, but it's what I got. If you give it a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that, and leave a message down below. I will get back to you, I promise. And subscribe if you haven't. Why wouldn't you? It's all free. And if you do, click the little bell down in the corner to get notifications of further videos. I really do appreciate you taking the time to check out my channel. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.